You walk into a room, and before anyone even looks at you, something inside you already tightens. Not because something is wrong, but because it feels like something is being measured. Your shirt, your posture, the way you stood for 1 second too long at the entrance. And here's the strange part. No one has even said a word. Yet your mind already acts like a conclusion has been made about you. You sit down, adjust your phone, pretend to be occupied. But inside, there's this quiet scanning happening. Did I look normal just now or weird? And you don't even realize it, but this question repeats itself in different forms all day. When you text someone and they reply after a delay. When you say something and there's a half-second pause. When you laugh slightly louder than you meant to. It all gets stored in the same place inside your mind. Something about me is being judged right now. But pause for a second. Who is actually doing the judging in that moment? Because if you look closely, most of the time, nobody is even paying attention. They're busy thinking about how they look, or what they said earlier, or whether they sounded awkward. And yet somehow you still feel like the center of silent attention. Like there is an invisible spotlight tracking your every move. But here's where it gets interesting. That feeling doesn't come from people. It comes from your mind trying to predict people. You sit in a group, someone glances at you for a second longer than usual. And immediately, your brain builds a story. Did I say something wrong? Do they think I'm strange? But what you don't notice is, that glance might not even be about you. It might just be a random break in their thoughts. Still, your mind doesn't like uncertainty. So it fills the gap. And it fills it with judgment. Because judgment feels more controllable than randomness. Strange, right? It's almost like your brain prefers a negative story over an unclear one. But let's go deeper into something you already experience. You send a message? You see that seen status. No reply? And suddenly, the room feels different. Not because anything changed outside, but because inside, something shifted. Your mind starts replaying your message. Was it too much? Too dry? Too eager? And now here's the hidden layer. The other person might simply be eating, or working, or completely unaware of the meaning you're assigning to their silence. But your brain is not interested in reality first. It's interested in social survival. And in ancient terms, being judged meant being excluded. And being excluded meant danger. So your mind evolved a shortcut? If I assume judgment early, I can fix it early. But now that same system runs in situations where there is no real danger at all. Just a message. Just a glance. Just a pause. And still, your nervous system reacts like something is at stake. Ever noticed how you rehearse sentences in your head before saying them? Not once, but multiple versions. Like you're testing which version will be least judgeable. But here's a question that breaks the pattern. Who exactly are you trying not to be judged by? Can you see their face clearly? Or is it just a vague collection of imagined reactions? Because the truth is, most of the judging audience in your head doesn't exist as real people. It exists as fragments of past moments. A teacher's expression from years ago. A stranger's look you barely remember. A friend's half-laugh that you overinterpreted. Your mind collects these fragments and turns them into a silent crowd. Always watching. Always evaluating. But never fully defined. And that undefined crowd becomes heavier than real people ever are. Now notice something else. When you're alone, none of this happens at the same intensity. You can think freely. Speak internally without hesitation. Be messy in your thoughts. No judgment feels present. But the moment you step outside, It reactivates. Like a switch. Almost like your identity changes depending on perceived observation. But here's the twist your brain doesn't tell you. You are not actually more judged outside. You are just more aware of being perceived. An awareness without control creates tension. So your mind invents control. It predicts reactions. It simulates rejection. It prepares you for outcomes that are not even forming yet. And the more you do this, the more real it feels. Until you stop questioning whether it's true. And start living as if it is. Now think about this moment. You say something in a group. People respond normally. Nothing unusual. But your brain zooms in on one tiny facial expression. A neutral face. A distracted glance. A delayed reaction. And suddenly, the entire interaction feels off to you. Even though nothing objectively changed. Why does your mind do that? Because neutrality is not readable enough. Your brain prefers signals it can interpret. And when it can't interpret something clearly, it assumes evaluation is happening. But here's the deeper illusion. You are not being judged as much as you are judging yourself through imagined eyes. It's like your mind creates a mirror in other people's faces. And then looks at itself through that mirror. And whatever distortion it sees, it believes is real feedback. Now here's something uncomfortable but important. Most of the time, people are not analyzing you. They are filtering their own reality. They are worried about their impression. Their mistakes. Their next sentence. Just like you. But your brain rarely calculates that symmetry. Because it's focused on self-protection, not accuracy. So it exaggerates your visibility. And reduces everyone else's self-consciousness. Making you feel like the main subject of the room. When in reality, everyone is the main subject of their own mind. Notice how exhausting it is when you're around people for too long. Not because people are judging you more. But because your mind keeps simulating being observed. Even when nothing is happening. Even in silence. Even in neutral spaces. Now something subtle happens over time. You start modifying yourself. Not dramatically. But slightly. You speak a little less freely. You choose safer words. You reduce expressions. You delay reactions. And without realizing it, you are not responding to people anymore. You are responding to imagined judgment. And that changes how you exist in rooms. But here's a deeper question. What if the thing you're trying to avoid was never actually aimed at you in the first place? What if the judgment you feel is just your brain running outdated survival code in modern environments? Because in reality, most people are too occupied with their own internal noise to carefully evaluate yours. But your mind doesn't feel that truth. It feels prediction. And prediction feels real enough to act on. Now imagine this. You enter a room again. Same room. Same people. But this time, you notice something different. You see that others are also adjusting themselves. Also pausing before speaking. Also checking reactions. Also managing perception. And suddenly the illusion shifts. You are no longer the only one being watched. You are part of a room full of self-observers. And the pressure spreads out. Instead of being focused on you alone. But even then, your mind might still whisper? What if they notice something about me specifically? And that whisper is not logic. It is habit. A learned pattern of scanning for social danger where none is confirmed. And the more you follow it, the more real it becomes. Until one quiet realization starts forming underneath everything else. Maybe the room was never against you. Maybe it was never focused on you. Maybe you were just aware of yourself in a way you assume others are too. And that assumption has been shaping how you sit, how you speak, how you exist in spaces that were never as sharp as your mind made them feel. And still, even knowing this, there's a part of you that wonders, if I stop feeling this pressure, will I become careless? But maybe the deeper question is not about carelessness. Maybe it's about how much of your life has been shaped by an audience that was never fully there to begin with.